Hi, I'm Naima Latif. And if you are worried about the violence in our society, you can relax because peace is coming. It's coming to planet Earth as we live and breathe. Yes, it is. Now, I know you're probably wondering, well, how is that possible? But the way it works is that each person chooses to be an expression of peace. You know, if you're living in an area where there's always conflict, you might be feeling overwhelmed with despair. But I've just come back from a global peace summit and had an opportunity to experience a heavenly culture where everybody's working toward world peace and they're working toward becoming the light. Light as opposed to darkness. Now, if you're believing that people can't change unless forced, that's incorrect. Nonviolence is defined by the dictionary as creating social or political change using peaceful means. But political and social change aren't the only ways that things change using peace. What really creates a peaceful society is what we teach our children and how we teach our children so they can experience what it's like to live and grow and learn without the fear of physical or emotional pain. What happens if you raise a child to be empathetic to others, to want to help people and provide for their needs? Well, then that child becomes one who willingly serves and is cheerful. I had the opportunity to experience such a culture at the recent 2023 commemoration of the ninth anniversary of the WARP Summit. And WARP stands for World Alliance of Religions for Peace. This was a gathering created by the HWPL organization. And HWPL stands for Heavenly Culture, World Peace, Restoration of Light. When we learn how to restore our light, our spiritual expression, our representation of the divine, then we create a society where there is no fear of violence because violence is not in us. I had a chance to see how this is demonstrated. This World Conference, this Peace Summit, this global gathering of religious leaders and educators and media professionals and law professionals, people who are committed to, within their professions, expressing peace, was an opportunity for all of us to present our best selves in whatever circumstances occurred. So, for 3 days, many of us who traveled from countries from around the world were able to gather and discuss and present and celebrate the victories that we had across Asia, Africa, Europe, and America, where people are forming communities where they learn how to treat each other with nonviolence. That means no verbal or physical violence. And to be in that atmosphere where regular little inconveniences may happen, but you see people respond in a way that kept things peaceful, lets us know that peace is possible. Inconveniences such as, let's say we're all going somewhere on a bus, and we all did. We went to a meeting on a bus, and the bus was crowded, and there weren't enough seats for everyone. Now, some people could get an attitude, and if you've ever been on a crowded city bus, you've seen certain people get an attitude, get angry if somebody accidentally bumps them, or get angry if somebody won't get up and give them a seat, or refuse to get up and give someone their seat. We didn't see any of that. We saw people readily getting up to give people their seat. Gentlemen were courteous, quick to give their seat to a lady or an elder. And there was no complaining. Everyone was cheerful. There were inconveniences. We go to a restaurant and maybe the waiter or the waitress might make a slight error in the order. There was nobody getting angry, cussing them out and saying, "You're so stupid. I said this and you gave me that." None of that. Everyone was cheerful, polite, and the waiter or waitress cheerfully came back with the corrected order. No one was angry. No one was upset. Little inconveniences, like the hotel room not being quite ready yet when you arrive and having to wait for a few hours. No worries. People were polite and cheerful and patient in waiting. Little things, like perhaps we're all sitting and waiting for something to start, and people making sure everybody had water or something to drink to quench their thirst. Little things. Interactions with everybody was so cheerful. Everyone greeted everyone with pleasantness, smiles. There was gratitude expressed all day long. And you quickly learn that word in Korean for thank you. 감사합니다. Because all day long people were expressing thanks. And there was such an atmosphere of pleasantness, regardless of what the situation may be. And we realized after the third day, you realize we didn't hear any police sirens, didn't hear any gunshots. And for those of us living in the inner city, that's noticeable. Didn't hear any arguments, didn't hear anybody cussing at anybody, no profanity whatsoever, no loud, angry voices anywhere. Only smiles, only cheerfulness, only joy, only love. This is a heavenly culture. This is what HWPL is teaching through its peace education classes. So we had an opportunity to experience what it's like when you learn how to simply speak kindly to everyone, to listen courteously to everyone, to take into consideration each person's needs or requests, to be patient and wait one's turn, to share what one has. This was a way of life. And for 3 days, in the atmosphere of people from countries around the world, everyone was on their best behavior, representing themselves wonderfully. Every act is an act of self-definition. So you define yourself as a kind person when you treat someone kindly. When you're rude to someone, you define yourself as a rude person. There's never a reason to be rude. There's never a reason to be angry and unpleasant and insulting. Never. And when one chooses to behave that way, one is disturbing the peace. Hurtful speech is violent speech. Whether you're reprimanding a child harshly, or speaking harshly to an elder, or even insulting one who is your peer. Nonviolent communication begins with one's own inner attitude that everyone is deserving of respect, regardless of how old they are, how young they are, what language they speak, what country they're from, what color of their skin or texture of their hair, or shape of their lips or nose, or any other insignificant thing. When we teach this to our children, respect for all life, and when we demonstrate it by the way we're treating our fellow beings, whether they be parents, children, friends, strangers, anybody, we're creating a heavenly culture. This is what we had an opportunity to experience during the recent Global Peace Summit held by HWPL. And those who participated demonstrated how to create a heavenly culture. So, how do we turn our war torn countries, our crime and violence ridden cities into places of peace? How do we remove the violence from our lives? We have to remove the violence from our speech, which means first removing the violence from our hearts. If we start with the way we raise our children, we can create a non-violent world where everyone realizes we're all one body, one entity. We are merely individuated expressions of the divine energy of creation we call God. All of us, even those who don't know it. And those who don't know it because of the way they were treated as children. We create violence with the way we speak to our children and the way we guide them toward correct behavior. When we use mean tones of voice, angry tones of voice, insulting tones of voice, when we say things that are hurtful to them, we scar them for life. And they spend the rest of their lives trying to never relive that feeling of pain we gave them. And they develop distortions in their personality as a way to protect themselves. Either they're mean to others, or they avoid emotional contact with others. They may be insulting to others, thinking that if they put someone else down, that will make them feel better. They may even engage in bullying others to feel powerful because perhaps they were made to feel powerless when an angry, perhaps violent parent hit them and made them feel powerless to defend themselves. When we raise our children with love and we correct them with love, we set examples of how to treat others by the way we are treating the other people in the household, our spouses, our siblings, other children, our neighbors. Then we create a heavenly culture. This is possible. I saw it. I experienced it. And it was a choice that everyone made to contribute to this heavenly culture. And these were people from all across the world. So there isn't one race or nationality or linguistic group or religion that is capable of creating heaven on earth. We all are. But we have to choose to treat all others as if they were the divine energy of creation, because they are. And when we teach our children that they and all others are the divine energy of creation, worthy of the highest respect and love, and when we exemplify it with the way we treat all others, regardless of the circumstances, the inconveniences, the annoyances, when we choose to express the best side of ourselves, we can contribute to a heavenly culture of world peace and a restoration of light. We want you to listen to a special interview with those of us who traveled to Seoul, South Korea, and experienced this culture of nonviolence, this heavenly culture of peace. We want you to hear our host, Zhana, joining us live from London in the UK on her show, Success Strategies with Zhana, on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. Just tap the link. And also, we want you to participate in the Nonviolent Blogging Carnival by sharing your stories of how you observed people treating each other in a way that was nonviolent, people diffusing anger, people choosing to be kind in otherwise challenging circumstances. We can do this. We have the power to create a loving, nonviolent society. Each of us must learn how to be our best selves, which sometimes means unlearning beliefs that children must be reprimanded harshly and people who make mistakes must be insulted. This is incorrect. I invite you to join those who are adding to the light of the world by choosing to live in a state of nonviolence, neither verbal nor physical, and add to the culture of peace. Look out for our upcoming class on our New Earth Homeschool Academy online on the Teachable platform, Parenting with Peace, where we'll be sharing with you strategies and techniques and habits in raising the next generation of children who can be raised with nonviolence and will create a heavenly culture right here on earth. I'm Naima Latif. Thank you for being a part of the solution.